Hello everyone, my name is Nabkalu Gloria and I'm going to be presenting a brief presentation about fundamentals of artificial intelligence. So first and foremost, the definition of artificial intelligence. From layman's language, artificial intelligence is just revolves around the ability of computers to mimic human intelligence. Our goal in this project is to build an AI-powered mosquito trap that will have to learn different wing bits of various mosquito species from a data set, and so that it can trigger mechanisms to trap these mosquitoes. So first and foremost, we go into the early days of artificial intelligence, the history and early days of artificial intelligence. In 1495, Leonardo da Vinci made a simple invention which was like a basic start of what artificial intelligence could actually look like in the future. So he designed a humanized robot that was in form of a knight, like those gods of long ago. This robot could wave its hands, it could sit and moves. And in 1900, Frank Baum, he was a writer who wrote a famous book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. In his writing, he speculated a fictitious character, the Wizard of Oz, that actually gave an image of what computers and machines could do, what it could look like if they did. And then Alan Turing in 1945, he published his Turing test in the landmark paper that he was arguing about whether computers could think or not, which laid a fundamental debate in the modern development of AI about the intelligence of computers, and it is still a debate up to now. So these three people, Leonardo da Vinci, Frank Baum, and Alan Turing, actually laid a big foundation in the history of artificial intelligence. So we get to the evolution of AI. AI has moved from long ago where they had rule-based systems up to now where we have modern systems. As I said, in 1945, the invention of Leonardo da Vinci, it really made a move in the development of artificial intelligence. So for our AI trap, we want to show intelligent behavior. Then, so we jump to weak AI versus strong AI. Weak AI is basically AI that can mimic human intelligence but not as strong AI. For our mosquito AI, it falls under weak AI because it specifies in a specific field to show human intelligence. Rather, if it was strong AI, it would bring out a picture of a whole human, not just specializing in, so ours is just mosquitoes and trapping them. But we want, if we are to say a model is strong AI, it has to mimic a whole person. It will have intuition and decision making about various aspects of life, rather not just one thing. So our project is only focused on specialized intelligent behavior rather than creating a conscious person as suggested by strong AI. The strong AI theory suggests that if we are to say this is strong AI, it has to mimic consciousness of a whole person, intuition and decision making about various aspects. Just like you, a person, you don't only do one specific thing, you have so much that you can do. So the fundamental role of AI, this will entail defining a problem, analyzing the problem, and choosing the best solution, for the best problem solving technique for our project. So the problem we have here is distinguishing different mosquito wing bits and identifying that yes, this is a mosquito. Then then the AI triggers a mechanism to trap this mosquito. This is because there could be other insects that have similar wing bits. As I said, I think I mentioned that we are going to use datasets from the Hamburg datasets, where different researchers collected various wing bit audios of of different species of mosquitoes. Say this is Culex, Aedes mosquito, Anopheles. So they have different frequencies at which they make their wing beats. That is our problem. Then we analyze it through finding the best problem solving techniques so as to come up with an accurate model that can really detect mosquitoes and trap them accordingly. So an introduction to problem solving in AI, we have an initial state, an intermediate state, and a goal state. So our initial state is audio input from datasets through machine learning. After us downloading those datasets, then we have them. So we have to process the audio data by making the AI learn them. Then our goal state is to come up with an accurate identification of different mosquitoes through their wing beat patterns, so as to activate a mechanism that can trap them. So continuing this, there are basically two types of searches that we can use in problem solving. We have the uninformed search, also known as the blind search, and the second type is the informed search. So firstly, the uninformed search. In this search, we have no additional information about the goal state. All we know, we want to come up with a model that can accurately identify mosquitoes through their wing beats that it has learned through machine learning. Then under uninformed search, we have breadth first search, depth first search, uniform cost search, depth limited or iterative search, which we shall see in the next slides how they can be implemented for our specific AI, the AI powered mosquito trap. Then for informed search, for this one you have additional information about the goal state. The examples are greedy best first search, Esther search, hill climbing search. So problem solving by search, informed and uninformed search. So we are going to look at the greedy best first search first. This is under informed search, where you have additional information about a goal state. So greedy best first search basically combines to breadth first search and depth first search. For this one, for greedy best first search, it will pick species that look most likely, that have similar say wing beats. For example, I give an example of, if we have a wing beat frequency that lies between 400 and 450 hertz, the AI will search through the different mosquito species that have that specific range of that frequency range of wing beats, rather than searching through the entire data set. It will look for those specific ones, whether similar insects or the mosquitoes, so that it can actually really get to know if this is a mosquito or not and be able to trap it. The next one is the Esther search. It is also an informed search. So this one balances probability with confidence from past data. For example, if the AI knows that Aedes mosquito is common in a certain region, and the frequency that has been gotten from the frequency that has been input from the environment is matching a certain frequency that is known for mosquitoes in that region, that becomes the top candidate. It will not go further to look at other available wing beat frequencies and their corresponding mosquitoes. Then next, we are going to look at the breadth first search. So now we are on uninformed search, where we do not have additional information about the goal state. So breadth first search is basically, if you're handling 3 different species, you'll handle species A, species B, and species C, like at the same time, without like focusing on one. So that is what breadth first search does. So opposed to breadth first search, you have depth first search. This is where you have species of mosquitoes A, B, C. Let me say A being Anopheles, B being Aedes, and C being any other species of mosquitoes. For this one, you input a wing beat frequency. It will it will say first go through Anopheles species and search deep into it without touching other species. Then it will either the search will either fail and backtrack, or if you're lucky, it's success and yes, that's a mosquito, so a trap mechanism is triggered. The next form of search is the uniform cost search. So for this one, instead of random searching, it will prioritize the available and easy or cheapest ways around. So if we know that in Uganda or in this region where we are, where we want to implement our mosquito trap, say Anopheles mosquitoes are the commonest, we shall not, in our data set, we shall not search through other rare types of mosquitoes in that area. We shall search that specific one, so as to come up with a mechanism to trap the mosquito. So our next thing to handle is the frame problem. Our next thing to handle is the frame problem by McCarthy and Hayes in 1969. So the frame problem is basically how, if we say a computer is intelligent, so it should be able to represent and reason about changes and what to consider in the dynamic environment. You know how there are so many things, environmental factors, things changing around the environment. So a computer should be able to reason and sort of have intuition about whatever is happening. So if we have a mosquito in range that has, and it's say, okay, a mosquito is buzzing around, our AI should be able to differentiate between, say, a mosquito buzzing and wing beat from a housefly. It should be able to differentiate that, oh, this was just a similar sound from somewhere else, say noise and other factors, rather than just we wouldn't want to have a trap that just keeps triggering traps, yet there is actually no target to be trapped. So since our AI does not process all possible data like light, sound and all movements, we can therefore say that it is using the frame problem to focus on relevant information, that if someone makes a similar sound to how a mosquito does wing beat and frequency is detected, it won't necessarily trigger a mechanism to trap a mosquito, because this is not actually a mosquito. So another case in point is where we have so mosquitoes have there are insects that are similar to mosquitoes, say fruit flies, gnats. You'll find that a fruit fly there are those with the same frequency wing beats as mosquitoes. So we shall see how to handle that through machine learning. So our model through machine learning will be able to say classify the different species. Say L, if we have species L, M and N present, we can use inference rules to derive a species label. Say if this is mosquitoes Aedes or Anopheles and it has been confirmed it is that, corresponding to a certain frequency range, it will trigger a mechanism to trap the mosquito. So this is directly relating to logical intelligence and mathematical intelligence, where we're using rules of inference, and we're using inference itself to design a specific label for a certain species so as to trigger a mechanism. This takes us to reasoning under uncertainty. This is where the probability theory and Bayesian theory comes in. So wing beats can be noisy and interrupted by ambiguous, like you can't really tell what is this. Some of them they were captured with background noise. So that's why we bring in the probability theories and Bayesian theories to handle such uncertainties. So also remember we said that inference rules are going to be used. Say we have species LMN, we can use rules of inference to to get specific labels for various species, so that we know that if you see wing beat frequency 400 hertz, that corresponds to, say, Anopheles mosquito. So that's what you shall do, and also find out the probability of let me give an example of, like, we have a mosquito and an insect that is not a mosquito. So if we say probability of 400 hertz being a mosquito is 0.3, and that one of it being a fruit fly is 0.3, so that will automatically show that this is not a mosquito. So we hence retain our mode to activate a trigger for the mechanism, because this is not a mosquito but it is actually another fly. So our AI model also has naturalistic intelligence, which is applied while handling natural signals like environmental factors, noise. So this takes us to planning and decision making. For every species, we shall have identified risks, and the system will make choices under constraints. So an application case in point is we shall have to study if the mechanism being triggered is a spray, is it a trap, which kind of trap is it. We shall have to look at its cost, effectiveness, and environmental impact. How does this trap affect the environment? What are its advantages and disadvantages? What should we do about it? Should we take this trap or this? That is basically the decision making. So regarding data mining, this integrates association and prediction into a broader decision making framework. So we get to machine learning. This is the heart of our project, basically the main reason as to why our project can actually function. So we are going to use supervised learning in our project, where we shall have labeled data sets of mosquito wing beats and train the model to identify that this and this is such and such a mosquito. So this is where I bring in the case of there are many flies and other insects that have similar wing beats to mosquitoes. So what shall we do about this? We shall have labeled data sets. This is mosquito data set, we put it into the model and it learns it. Then this is, say, data set for other insects with similar wing beats, and also put their frequency ranges, and also that the model can be able to differentiate that, oh, this is a mosquito, let me trigger a trap. This is not a mosquito, though it really looks close to a mosquito, but that's not our goal state, so there will be no mechanism triggered. So the models that we can use are, for example, SVMs, random forest, and deep learning models. These are all models of machine learning. There is also unsupervised learning, but yeah, it could be used to cluster unknown wing beat patterns for future learning. Say if we found a wing beat pattern that it's not recognized at all, like when say that mosquito does its wing beat and the trap doesn't show any reaction, so we can also capture those for future learning. So this takes us to intelligence and philosophy. Can AI outperform human expertise? That's a question. So our model is depending on logical and mathematical intelligence plus naturalistic intelligence. Naturalistic intelligence in a way that malaria is a great problem and it has been affecting people all along. So this is a natural factor that we are trying to come against. Logical and mathematical intelligence using the rules of inference, to label species with different data sets. So in conclusion, our AI project is aimed at integrating core AI for impactful solutions.